Happy holidays and happy Tuesday, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I'm Kelly Manzone. For today's class, we're still addressing the anterior and posterior performance lines. Some of what we're going to be doing today is a progression off of last week's class. Now we're going to need a short stick and one long stick. If you don't own stick mobility, no worries. You could use a PVC pipe, wooden dowel, whatever you have accessible to you. We're also going to use a sidewall as leverage, and at the end of class we'll be doing some half kneeling, so if you need a towel or a pillow for your knee, please have one nearby. I'm going to get started today with warming up our upper body. I haven't done any of that stick mobility kayaking this month yet, and I feel like in order to really properly get into our anterior and posterior slings, we also need to mobilize our shoulders and lateral lines. We're going to start in our stick mobility horse stance with our short stick. So your stance is going to be a little bit wider than hip width. You're going to soften into your knees and tuck the tailbone under. So we're taking that anterior pelvic tilt out. With your stick, if you have a short one, you're going to cup the hands to the outside of the stick. Now the camera flips me, so even though this is my left side, so you could follow along a little bit more easily, I'm going to call it my right. So once the stick is on your right side, you're going to start to kayak forward. Now if you notice at the moment, I'm keeping my hips still facing forward, and again, just mobilizing the shoulders. If you can, try to perform class barefoot so you could really feel the connection and feedback to the floor, and we could strengthen the foot ankle complex just a little bit more. Now, I'm going to add a little bit of rotation through the torso, but I'm maintaining that alignment with the hips. And I'm putting a little bit of pressure into the stick, maybe about 20% or so. Let's go for 4 more, then we're going to add on 1, 2, 3. Now on 4, the stick is on your left side, and we're going to reverse it without rotating the torso. So it's going like up and back, similar to backstroking in a pool. Up and back. Again, pushing into the stick just a little bit for feedback. And now add the rotation of the torso, inhaling and exhaling. And now I say it every class. I know I sound like a broken record, but if you want to diaphragmatically breathe, you're going to close your mouth and rest the tongue on the roof of your mouth, breathing through your nose throughout class. Let's go for 4 more, up and back. 1, 2, 3. Now on 4, it's back over to our left side, coming center, just a little bit of a pendulum. And as you're going from right to left, you're pushing upward into the stick. Bicep is going to be in line with the ear. Let's go for 4 more. Up, 1, 2, 3, 4. As we lower, changing the grip to overhand, up, above, pull apart on the stick, maintaining your horse stance, working a little bit into the lateral line. So this is similar to our stick mobility bow and arrow. This left hand, I'm going to think of lifting up and out of the hips, stretching out the left side. Excuse me, I said the opposite. Through center. Now this is the left. Pull down with the left. Angle, look up towards your right. Through center, 1 more time. Pulling down with that right arm. Angle, look up towards the left. Through center. Hold here for a moment. Now kind of take mental notes of where you're feeling a little bit of restriction with your movement. Coming through center, slowly lower the stick, and we're going to place it to our upper mid-back. Take a moment, reclaim your horse stance, and I want you to focus on taking your shoulders down away from your ears. Soften into those knees. Now the stick is going to press into your T-spine, so you're going to get a little bit of feedback. You could rotate the palms up, anchoring the shoulders down and back, or if you'd like, you could rest your palms right on your belly. Now I'm going to press down with that right foot, add some rotation, so working into the hip. That left heel is going to elevate, and keeping my eyes leading the head. I'm gonna rotate as far as I can, looking over my shoulder, through center, push down into that left foot now, inhale, exhale, rotate just as far as you can, never working into pain. Again, other side, proud chest, eyes leading the head, shoulders stay down, pivot through center, good. And now as we come back through center, hold here, and you're gonna drop your chin to your chest, angle, look upward towards the ceiling. Again, eyes leading the head, look down like you dropped something on your shirt or on the floor, and then angle, look up, come through center. We're gonna look to our right, up and over to our left, back over to the right, and back over to the left, coming through center. Now, taking our short stick, coming down for a quick stretch into the hip. I'm just gonna make sure that I still have my Wi-Fi connection, and I do, good. Now, I'm gonna take my left leg forward. Now I'm gonna be on a diagonal, so it'll look like my left leg. Taking the stick in front, you have the option to anchor with the ball of the back foot, or you could go top of the foot down. So if you want plantar flex or dorsiflex, it's personal to you. I'm gonna angle the bottom of the stick inward towards me, top of the stick a little bit out away from me. And driving down into the floor, gonna have that slight tuck of the tailbone, and I'm just gonna gently come forward a couple of inches, getting a nice stretch into the hip. Take a breath, and then pull back. Great, working right into the hip and quad. And again, come forward, push down into the stick, keep that slight tuck, breathe, shoulders stay down away from the ears, pull back. Let's go for one more on this side, then we're gonna transition. Hinge, hold, 4 counts, hold 1, 2, 3, and on 4, we're simply gonna pull back and change sides. So I have my inside, right leg forward. Again, I prefer top of the foot down. I'm gonna scoop under, switch my top hand, push down into the stick, take a breath, come forward, hold. Excellent. Stay here, and then gently ease off. Take another breath, deep inhale, push down into the stick, come forward just a little bit. I could tell this side is a little bit more restricted than my other side. And pull back. Let's go for one more. Come forward, pause here. Pushing down into the stick, into the floor, create a little bit of tension. We're gonna hold 4 counts, hold 1, 2, 3, on 4, gently release. We're gonna temporarily put our short stick to the side. Still warming up, we're gonna work into our spine. Oh, there goes my whiteboard that I used for class. And I'm gonna face you. This is one of my favorites. So I'm on my left side, I'll say, so that you can follow along. And I'm gonna have the stick in my left hand and on the top of my left foot. Now, this top leg is simply going to slide in underneath the stick. That foot is flexed, angle could be in line with the knee in line with the hip. If you're struggling to keep your head down on the ground, I'm gonna keep mine a little bit elevated so I could obviously talk to the camera. But you could always use that pillow or towel that we have nearby for the end of class for your neck. So I'm flexing that foot and I'm elongating my left arm. I'm gonna grip and now I'm gonna crush the stick. So my hand is pushing down into the stick, flex foot creating tension up into the stick. Now we're gonna take our top hand over. From here, we're just gonna open like a book. Inhale, exhale, and then slowly come forward. Again, deep breath. Inhale, exhale, eyes leading the head. So you wanna be mindful. This knee should stay connected to the floor. So I only want you to rotate to where you personally are comfortable. Obviously, right now this is a very important warm-up for those anterior and posterior slings. Now, I don't have a lot of space here, but I want you to do a really dynamic reach up and back. I'm going to bend my elbow here and then lengthen. And you're simply going to reverse it. Take another breath. Inhale, exhale, and sweep it across and over. Let's do 2 more like this. So take a deep breath in. Sweep that arm as much as you can back and around. Keep that tension on the stick. Good. Let's do 1 more here. Big sweep. Eyes lead the head. Now let's just have a short hold here. 4 counts. Hold 1, 2, 3. On 4. Reverse the way that you came. And release. So release the hold on the stick. Release that flex foot. You're on your side. Simply press up. And now we're going to go over to our other side. I love that one. Got to admit, my clients love it too. So here we go. Opposite side. And now that top leg is underneath. That foot is flexed. Hopefully I'm still in line of the shot here. Ankle in line with the knee, knee in line with the hip. I'm extending my top arm. Now push upward, push downward, crushing the stick. Eyes leading the head. Oh man, this is money right here. I love this. So take your time. And I just got a nice release in my back. I don't know if you could hear that. But it felt darn good. Reach. And now, since I could tell that this side is a little bit more restricted, that top knee wants to come off the floor a little bit. So again, create that tension, push into the stick, open and close, take your time, breathe. Now we've got that big sweep up and around, and then reverse it. Again, deep breath, take your time. So as you watch this video back, you could always kind of slow this down a little bit more, or you could go for a longer hold as part of your warm-up and or recovery. Let's do 1 more sweep. Now pause here, holding for that 4 count. Hold 1, 2, 3. On 4, gently come out of it. Excellent. Release the stick. Now, we're going to go into another stretch. This time we're in our prone position. I've done this in quite a few classes. Great way to kind of loosen up the hips before we get into a little bit of contralateral movement. Now, the stick is in line with the chest. Arms are nice and wide in a T shape. And you're going to push into the stick. This is going to help to keep our shoulders grounded. Now, I have a lot of mobility and flexibility in my joints, and I know that a lot of people can struggle with this one. So I don't want you to force yourself too far. Just ease into it. So I'm going to take this outside leg to my right, elevate that knee, and I'm going to start to open the hip. Allow the right leg to go back as far as it can. Now, my toes touching, and I'm looking over towards you. Now, as I slowly begin to reverse it and release, I switch. Now, that left knee's going to bend, knee elevates, start to open the hip, and now I'm looking over to my left as the foot goes over to the right. So again, crushing into the stick, that'll help to keep that upper body down. Your head could stay low. I have a little bit higher of an elevation with my head right now so that I could continue to talk to you without being too muffled. Elevate, reach, good. Let's do 4 more. Up, 1. And again, if you watch this back, you could always slow these down. You could do more if needed. We got 2 more. Push into that stick, elevate, and open up the hip line, reach. 1 more. Pause here. Take a moment To realign, come out of it slowly. Slide the stick forward, palms underneath the shoulder line, and press back. Perfect. Okay, we're gonna get into some of our strength work right now. If you need a sip of water, please grab it. We're gonna begin with our dead bugs. Now, these dead bugs are gonna be leveraged against the wall on the side. So I'm gonna kind of pivot away from the camera for a moment. The leverage is gonna be behind the head, and we're gonna kind of march out our arms in opposite leg. And we'll repeat this on both the right side and the left side. As I lay back, I'm gonna have the stick in my outside hand, which is my right. Leverage behind me. Gonna come a little bit further out. Now, because we wanna be mindful of the alignment with our tailbone and our back, we wanna keep the work in our anterior in the front of the body, so there's gonna be that slight tuck up of the tailbone. So mimicking some contralateral movement, if my right arm is elevated, my left knee is gonna be the one that's elevated and lifted forward. And then when my arm comes down, we're gonna go opposite. So this is what it's going to look like. I'm gonna take a moment, slight tuck of the chin, scoop. I'm nice and connected. I'm gonna pull this arm down. Now, lifting my knees off the ground, the stick is gonna be to the outside of that right knee. I'm gonna lengthen the right leg, lower it as I extend that right arm, and then pull. So it's a press, it's a pull. Press, good. Pull. Head could be elevated or your head could be down. And I'm pushing back into that wall. Excellent. Pull, press. Let's go 6 more. 1, 2, press. 3, we're halfway, 3 more. 4, stay connected, breathe. 5, 1 more, 6. And then draw the knees in, take a moment, feet to the floor, do a little bit of a wiper. You can keep your feet connected or you can lift your feet off the floor. So knees in one direction, eyes in the opposite direction. Well done. Now we're transitioning to the other side. So now I have the stick in my inside left hand, elbow bent, and again you kind of have to wiggle out and find that spot where you could really feel connected. Elevating, right? So just like we did on the other side, if this outside right leg is up and I'm lowering the left, I'm going to punch that arm up. Okay, here we go. So we pull and press. Stay connected. I like to kind of make a little fist with the opposite hand, or you could kind of march out the arms. Your choice. So I want you to go for 6 more. 1, pull and press. 2. If you need to modify, you could have the legs up a little bit higher. We're almost there. Keep pushing into the wall behind you. Stay with it. Good. Let's go 1 more. Excellent. Slowly lower the feet and go for those little wipers side to side. Okay, next exercise, we're going to come to standing. So I'm just going to roll onto my side and then press up. We're going to use our long stick. We're going to do a 2-part exercise going from a single leg RDL into a reverse lunge with an overhead press. So what I'm going to do is leverage my stick against my old school Slater log over here. And I'm going to take a good step out. This is my inside right hand, outside left leg. Just to demonstrate, because I have to find my alignment, I want to do a little bit more kind of cross body So I'm going to step in just a little bit further. I'm going to elevate that inside right knee, hip hinge, pause. Now, as I come up, so nice and squared, then I'm going to step back and go into an overhead press, leveraging into the wall and come back up. So we're going to go for 6 reps with our left leg forward, and then 6 reps with the right. So get your position, find that alignment, and you're going to activate that inside lat, pack that shoulder. So that's going to create that tension that we have going into the wall. Standing tall, here we go. Elevate your inside right knee. Hip hinge, push into the wall. You're nice and parallel. Take a breath, inhale, exhale, lunge back. Good, that's 1. Now using your balance and control, right? We're working that foot ankle and posterior line. Come up. Again, hinge. We're going slow. Transition into that overhead position. Good, that's number 2. So we have 4 more. Now, if you wanted to increase this challenge, this is personal to you. You could always place a dumbbell or a kettlebell in your outside hand to add a little bit of load to this exercise. Oh, there goes one of my meals. Hold on. Good. So we have 2 more. Nothing like working in a home training space. Welcome to a portion of my living room, our small living room, which is mainly fitness equipment. Okay, we got 1 more. Hinge forward, breathe. Maintain that alignment. Inhale, exhale, drive up. Pause here in your reverse lunge. Now, work that balance. Come up, elevate that knee. We have 5 more reverse lunge where we're going to elevate that knee. Keep the arm extended. Reverse lunge. Inhale, exhale, drive up, work into that oblique, elevate that knee. Good. Come down, up, exhale, pull. Now I'm still pushing into the wall. Let's do 3 more. Reverse lunge, drive up. Excellent. 2 more. Reverse lunge, drive up. 1 more. Come up and release. Shake your legs out. Simply going to turn around here. Now again, you could add load to this to progress it. You could go for a longer hold if needed. Okay, so outside right leg, inside left hand, pushing into the wall. So before I start, pack the shoulder, engage that inside lat, find a focal point, hip hinge, forward. Now as we come up, transition, take it overhead. Well done. 5 more. Hip hinge, stay nice and parallel. Length through the spine. So notice if you start to disconnect somewhere. Hinge. So my inside arm is coming across. Get into the core. Good. We have 3 more. Hip hinge, keep pushing into that wall. Don't neglect that. It's an important detail, and it's easy to kind of release that tension on the wall. It's a challenge to keep it throughout the set. Good. Now we have 1 more here, and then we're going to go into those reverse lunges. Here we go. Nice and controlled. All right. Elevate that knee. Push into the wall. Squeeze that glute. Step back. Find your focal point. Connect to the foot, up the posterior line. Drive up. Keep pushing into that wall. Reverse. Proud chest. Drive up. Let's go for 2 more. I believe we did 5 on the other side. If I'm off by 1, I apologize. 1 more. Reverse lunge, inhale, exhale, drive up. Good. Take a moment, shake it out. I really like the next exercise that we're going to do. The next one, we're going to take the stick behind our back. Excuse me. I like to use this in prep for overhead kettlebell press, and especially overhead kettlebell press with a squat. This one adds a little bit of rotation to the body. Now, I'm going to place the shorter side on my right here. Have the longer side on the left. Taking the squat position, we're going to go nice and slow to demonstrate at first. Now, oops, I'm going to lengthen my arms there, sorry. So lengthening the arms, I'm going to crush and push into the stick. As I begin to descend into the squat, this right side is going to come across and hook to the floor. Now here I get a little bit of anterior work. Be mindful, right? So I'm not shifting my body weight forward, pulling my body weight back, push into the feet, inhale, exhale, coming out of the squat. So we're going to do 6 with right going over to left. Here we go. Push into the stick. So you're crushing the stick, creating tension. Rotational squat angle. Look upward towards the ceiling. Push into the floor, activate those legs. Slowly come out. Next rep. Inhale, exhale to the floor. Crush the stick, push into the stick. Grip the ground with the feet. Slowly come up. Good. So I want to do 6 reps. This is our third. Push, drive up. So it's not too intense, but again, this is a great priming drill and strength drill. Good. Let's go for 2 more. Rotate, hold here, push into the floor, slowly come up. I've actually performed this with a resistance band wrapped around the stick before for a little tension. It was great. Hold and slowly come to stand. Take a moment, release the stick from behind you, roll out your shoulders, and we're going to go from left to right. So short side of the stick on the left side. Find your alignment. Then you're going to also notice rotationally which side feels sometimes a little bit more awkward, and this is my more awkward side. So we're going left over to the right. Hold. You could look upward towards the ceiling. Remember, pull that body weight back. Come to stand. As you descend into the squat, take it over to the right side. Push into the feet. Slowly come up. Well done. So we have 4 more. And you only go to where you can comfortably. Now I'm still crushing the stick. I'm still pushing tension into the stick as I go through the set. Watch those shoulders. So as I lower, that left shoulder is going to stay down away from the ear. Good. I think there's 1 more. My counter is a little off today. Been a little sleep deprived. And push into the floor. And come up. Excellent. Take a second and shake it out. So now we're going to go into our stretching. And I want to start with the supine stretch that we actually did earlier in class, but we're going to have a longer hold. So coming down, I'm going to be on my left side, but I'm going to say it's my right. And this time, you're now pretty warmed up. I want you to see the difference from the beginning of class to the end of class on your ability to kind of mobilize your spine in your reach, because this is one of the ways that we could really tap into those posterior and anterior lines. Okay, so bottom foot flexed. There we go. We have our position. Now, on the first one, I want you to take that top hand, start to really sweep it up and glide. Reach as far out as you can. Remember, you're pushing into the stick, and that top leg, that knee, should stay connected with the floor. Now your eyes are going to look in the direction of that open palm, and that open palm faces upward towards the ceiling. Keep pushing and flexing that foot. Keep activating and pressing down with your arm. Hold here. Now we're going to reverse it. Excellent. And now open like a book. Take your arm. Eyes lead the head. Breathe. Inhale, exhale. Reach. Hold here and allow yourself to kind of melt into the stretch. So I'm looking at the camera, but I want you to look at your hand. Now keep that bottom foot flexed. Keep tension on the stick. Let's hold 4 counts more. Hold 1, hold 2, hold 3, and on 4, slowly reverse out of the stretch. Good. Place the stick down, slowly press up, and we're going to go over to our other side. That should have been some progress from the beginning of class there. Please let me know. So if you ever have any feedback, don't hesitate to reach out. You could find me at KelsBells88 on Instagram if you need to send a DM. Now, that top arm, we're going to hold here, and then I want you to sweep, reach, reach, go as far as you can comfortably. Remember, we're not working into pain. Hold. Just kind of melt into the stretch. If you need to, close your eyes, focus on your breathing, disconnect from the noise around you, and then when you're ready, you simply reverse and come back to that start position. Scan your body, take a breath, and now we're gonna open like a book. So eyes lead the head, follow that hand. Notice if you're compensating anywhere. Notice if you're holding your breath. Remember, only go to what you're comfortable. I'm looking at the camera, but I want you to look back at your palm and hold for 4 more counts. Hold 1, hold 2, hold 3. Now on 4, slowly come out of your stretch and then release the stick. Come up, and we're going to go into snake reach. If you need to kneel on a towel, by all means, please grab one now or a pillow. And we're going to start with our right leg forward. Getting into the shoulder girdle and in through those lateral lines, a little bit of sling work here too. I personally like to kickstand or windshield wiper my inside leg of the knee that is down. That's personal to you. And when I do that, I have a slight tuck of that tailbone, so I'm able to maintain alignment and create stability. The stick is going to go to the inside of the right thigh. The outside left hand is going to come up high with the palm facing down. Now, that is quite intense for some people. If you find that's too challenging, I want you to slide the hand down and bend the elbow. Now, this right hand is reaching out to the side, and I have a gap between my shirt and the stick. And I'm simply going to slide my arm through that gap so the stick could go behind that right shoulder. And then I'm going to engage that glute, have that length. If you need to modify, remember that elbow is bent. And bottom hand is long, and I'm going to rotate, looking over that right thigh as that left hip continues to come around. Breathe, pause here. By far one of my favorite stick mobility stretches. And then let's come out of it for a moment. So simply open into that thigh. If you need to, slide the hand, adjust. You could, if you want to intensify it, you could lengthen the arm. Take a breath and go back into your stretch here. Squeeze that glute. Pause. Let's hold for 4 counts. Hold 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4, slowly begin to rotate, slide your hand down, and release. Take a moment to roll out your shoulders, and we're going to transition to the other side. So I have my left leg forward now. I'm going to pivot or wiper that back right leg a little bit. And I already know this side always feels different. So we're going to take that top right hand with a thumb down, find your spot. Lengthen that left arm. Begin to slide it through. So the stick now is behind your shoulder and rotate into the stretch. So I'm pushing down through that front left foot. I'm anchored with the ball of the back foot. You could also go top of the foot down, personal to you. Keep rotating and breathing, never working into pain. So be aware of your limits. Slowly open out. Now I want to go a little bit deeper into stretch. So I'm going to elongate that arm a little bit more. And as I rotate, keep squeezing through the glute. Looking over that shoulder. Hold here 4 counts. Hold 1. Hold 2. Hold 3. And on 4, we open into that side and release. Excellent. Take a moment, roll out those shoulders. We're going to come to stand. Now going into a slap shot variation, I want you to take the stick to the swell of your lower back. Depending on your hips, right? I just want you to kind of go to where you personally are comfortable, and then on the second set, you could always go a little bit deeper into the stretch. So I'm wider than hip width, gripping the ground with the feet, and I want you to activate those feet. So when we go into the stretch, kind of think of the feet pulling apart the mat or the floor below you. This right side is going to come across and anchor to the floor on the left as I hip hinge. So I'm going to hip hinge, anchor, so right over to left. Now at first, I'm a bit parallel, or balanced I should say, in that hip hinge. Then I'm going to wiggle out a little bit more, and I'm going to bend into this right knee, angle, look upward towards the ceiling. Now everybody is different, so I just want you to kind of focus on where you personally could take yourself without going into pain. Hold. Then we're going to shift. So activate those feet. I'm going to glide over to the left. Now we're getting into that right leg. Toes are facing forward, right? Getting a little bit into the ankle here too, which is fantastic. Breathe. Now shift again. Rip apart that floor. Instead of your body weight going forward, pull that body weight back and open that shoulder. Look upward towards the ceiling. Hold here 4 counts. Hold 1, 2, 3. Now on 4, glide. Again, grip the ground with your feet. Pull apart that mat. Push into the stick. Hold 4 counts. Hold 1, 2, 3. On 4, soften into both knees and slowly reverse. Come out of it for a moment. Shake everything out. And now we're going to leverage the left side going over to the right. Heel toe out to where you can comfortably. Stick is at the lower back. Take a moment to hip hinge forward. Left side leverages to the right. Now, we're going to bend into that left knee. Lengthen that right leg. So this is where you could kind of wiggle out a little bit further if you'd like. I want you to try to open up that anterior line here. Remember, you're shifting and pulling your body weight back. Look upward towards the ceiling. Hold here. Stay with it. Gripping the ground with the feet. Glide over to the other side. I'm going to glide that a little bit further. Good. So check your feet. Get that nice stretch. Pause here. Take a breath. Glide and shift. Again, work to where you are comfortable. I don't want you struggling. Breathe. 4 counts. Hold 1, 2, 3. Now on 4. Work those feet. Slide, glide, slide, glide. And hold here, looking upward towards the ceiling. Push down, activate, right? 4 counts. Hold 1, 2, 3. On 4. Shift and soften into both knees. Release. Pause. Use your core strength. Slowly come up. Heel, toe in to protect your hips. Great. Now we're going to go into a bow and arrow. Taking the stick to the outside of the right foot. And I say it every time that I do bow and arrow. We want to lead with the hips first and not pressing out with the upper body. That's second. So left hand, palm faces down. Right hand finds the sticker. Leveraging and pushing into the floor. Sending the hips out to the left first, then pressing out with the arms. But that top left arm, I'm going to kind of leverage and activate that lat. Gripping the ground with the feet, taking the tailbone under, and then if you want a little bit more of front line, I'm going to angle and look upward towards the ceiling. Now, as you're doing this, that inside shoulder should be down away from your ear. Be mindful that you're not jetting the chin forward. So work to where you personally can. Hold, breathe, and slowly come out of the stretch. Good. Up and over to the other side. You could fix your stance if that wasn't quite right. Right hand, palm down, left hand at the sticker. Setting the hips out first, upper body second. Again, activate those legs, angle, look upward towards the ceiling. Breathe, hold just a little bit longer, and then we're gonna wrap up class with a bow and arrow on a diagonal. And slowly come out. Good. Now, maintaining the stance, but we're gonna just narrow it slightly. I'm now gonna take my stick to the right and back on a diagonal. So a little bit of like a gentle bridge here, standing bridge. So anchored with the bottom of the stick, hips are gonna press out first, then upper body, and I'm gonna angle back. So gripping the ground with the feet, activating those legs, squeezing the glutes, hips face forward, and then if you'd like, you could look over that shoulder. Stay with it, 4 counts, hold 1, 2, 3, on 4, gently release. Let's wrap up on the other side. So you could kind of play around with what spot to put the stick, and then again, activate, hips forward, look up to the ceiling first, and then you could look over that shoulder. Hold here, 4 counts, hold 1, hold 2, hold 3, and on 4, we're gonna slowly come out of it. Well, thank you for joining me today, and if you celebrate, Merry Christmas. I will see you next Tuesday. I'm Kelly Manzone at Kettlebells88 on Instagram. I'm always open to feedback, so if you have any, please feel free to reach out. This class is later going to be uploaded on YouTube, and on the Stick Mobility YouTube channel, there's all the history of the live classes, along with some really helpful education tutorials, and you could also watch episodes of the Movement Made Better podcast, and you can listen to the podcast on Spotify or Apple. Till next week, and I will see you soon. Take care.